We're gonna make Boston cream donuts. Okay, so first step, we need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. 1/4 cup of sugar. You don't need a ton of sugar in donut dough. You're gonna cover it in chocolate and you're gonna stuff it with pudding. I'm gonna put just a pinch nutmeg in there. Nutmeg is the flavor of plain donuts. Here is a cup of buttermilk at room temperature. I'm gonna crack an egg. Teaspoon of vanilla. And this is shortening. 1/4 cup. Try this recipe with butter. It just comes out better when you use shortening. Here's the yeast. How you doing? I bloomed the yeast. I added 2.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 2 tablespoons of water, and a pinch of sugar, and let it go for about 5 minutes. When it smells like a bakery, that's the smell you're looking for. This is all gonna be really nice. So I'm gonna add 150 grams of water. Remember, you want a good, wet, sticky dough. I'm gonna let this go for about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm gonna stop this. That is a good, wet dough. I'm gonna take the hook off, just sit it right in the bowl. Now, I have a bowl here, and I just put a little bit of cooking spray in there. So I'm gonna get all the dough off of the hook. There it goes. You wanna cover this guy and let it rise until it doubles in size for about 1.5 hours. This is exciting. Look at that dough. A little bit more flour here, and then I'm gonna turn this guy over. And because we oiled the bowl, it just pops right out. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna roll this dough so it's about like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. That feels good. Okay, now, this is the 3.5 inch cutter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut donuts out and then they're gonna rise again. So it's like pillowy and soft and perfect. Okay, I'm gonna put the floury side down so it doesn't stick to the paper. Now, take a little flour and sprinkle it on top. And then I'm gonna take the same towel that I was using, just cover these. Cover the donuts in plastic so the donuts don't get a skin. You won't really taste it, but they just kind of look strange. Then we'll just put this in a warm spot for about 20 minutes. Okay, so donuts are rising. While we're waiting for those, let's make some chocolate glaze. I've got 1.5 cups of bittersweet chocolate chips melting on a double boiler. So what I'm gonna do is just dump the butter in here. 6 tablespoons, that's gonna melt too. Butter is milk fat. If I use milk chocolate in a glaze like this, it's gonna be way too soft. Just a little pinch of salt. My great-grandmother taught me that. She put a little bit of salt in everything sweet. Okay, so we're gonna let this go for a second and just kind of let all that chocolate and butter just gently melt. I'm gonna pull this guy off of the stove. Now look how beautiful that is. Now, a teaspoon of vanilla. 2 tablespoons of honey. 1, it's gonna make it a little sweeter. But 2, the honey makes it shiny. Oh man. Glaze is done. Let's deep fry some donuts, and I'm gonna show you guys just how easy this is. All right, here's our donuts, and look at them. They're all nice and puffy. Now, I got some oil here. Do you wanna fry these anywhere between like 350, 375? Lay this in here. So we are frying in vegetable oil or like canola oil. So very gently, you can feel how pillowy and light these are. Look at that guy. Look how he puffed up. These are gonna be great. They're gonna be full of pudding. They're gonna be covered in chocolate. Man. Now you wanna fry these till they're like golden brown on one side, and then we're gonna flip them. It's gonna take about like 2 minutes and change to really get nice and golden brown. Don't overload the fryer. I think 4 donuts is probably good here. The way that you can tell a really good donut is when it has a white stripe around the middle. What that means is that your donuts were so light and fluffy that when you drop them in the oil, less than 50% of the donut is in the oil. Then when you flip it, same thing. So what happens is there's a stripe around the middle of the donut that never gets deep fried. When you see that stripe, that means you're about to have a really good airy donut. So this is a spider. Now I'm gonna get the donuts out and just get them on a cooling rack. Look at these. We are gonna fill some donuts. So I have some vanilla pudding that I made in this bag. Now this is stuff right out of the box. I didn't make this from scratch. And it actually is a very authentic flavor for a Boston cream donut. So if you don't have a tip like this, you can put the pudding in a turkey baster and you can squeeze them, right? So as you're filling this donut, you feel it actually pushing your thumb up a little bit. So I know that like when I press down, like I can feel there is a good amount of pudding in this donut. Just kind of roll it around in the chocolate. And down you go. Sprinkles. Okay. I think I should probably try one of these because I want to make sure they're good before I feed them to the rest of the band. This is for science. It's kind of crispy on the outside. And the filling, the pudding, it's like cool and sweet and smooth.